Today, after recording the videos, I took the last detail that finally we got it, and now we are off to win the prize of finding details in the little town called Ljusdal. But wait, soon there will be hopefully an upload if this Rumble studio actually works today. We will see. Today, after recording the videos, I took the last detail that finally we got it, and now we are off to win the prize of finding details in the little town called Ljusdal. Hello, the English speakers, and I'm here with Dad. We are out searching for the last little detail in Ljusdal. Today we'll talk a little bit about stuff, but let's start by taking a big, deep breath at my former high school, or grade 7 to 9. The high school, as we call it in Swedish. No, high stadium, actually. Makes no sense in English. If you get wealthy, you don't become a better person. That rarely happens, but you do become more of the person that you are. So if you are someone who wants to dominate others, you will use all your money to enslave even more people. And if you are someone who likes to do virtuous signaling, then you will do even more of that. You will buy carbon offsets or carbon credits for your private jet and so on, and you will give away a lot of money to evil organizations, like if you are, for example, a billionaire ex-wife. They like to do stuff like that. And if you are someone who likes to build, of course, if you have a lot of money or resources, you will build much more. And if you are lazy, then it might be a problem, actually, because you think that you can hire someone who will do all the stuff for you, so you don't have to. But then you're suddenly an employer, and then you don't want to do that. So you hire someone to handle the administration, and then sooner or later you have a big, huge organization that you have to clean up and do, and you have to do a lot of working. So lazy people do not get rich. That's my advice. Otherwise, it seems to be a good idea to become the rich, unless you really hate to do some stuff. So yesterday was no good day for the technology. The Rumble studio, that failed and took me many uploads until I gave up. So I used Rumble Studio to upload to Rumble, to my Facebook page, to YouTube, to Odyssey, and to BitChute. And in that way I can save a lot of time. I still pretty much cut and paste into things like BitChute and Odyssey. Odyssey is the most annoying one to post all the kinds of different keywords. That will be a lot of work. On the other hand, the keywords on Odyssey actually works. So you see other videos that are similar to whatever I uploaded, which is nice and helped me sometimes when I talk about something odd, and then I get to see more. But we'll see if Rumble Studio works now. And even worse, when I write on my Substack, then the links, you can't make links because there is some sort of toolbox, and that is just on top of the document. It used to follow you when you scroll down, but now it doesn't do that anymore, at least not in my outdated browser. So I have to make the link at the top and then cut it out and then paste it lower down in the document. So that's my problems, if you are interested. I uploaded a video about the Jewish cloud that surrounds everything Elon Musk is posting about on X. all the problems that have Jews somewhere in them. If you want to see how a typical day in Elon Musk's Twitter feed looks like, I posted about my talk about that. I did not upload that to YouTube or Facebook, just in case they think that I was antiseptic. Zionist agents have been arrested in Korea. Not any new news, but from this summer. So these were mega churches agents, basically. So they are preaching Zionism in Korea, and the left-wing government thinks that, yeah, you are doing something very political, and we do not want Jewish supremacists here, even if they are not Jews. So that is something you miss if you are, for example, the Trump administration and you call out South Korea for harassing Christians. Well, you should take a look at your pastors, or whatever you call your men of spreading Zionism. Gen X girl, 1994, when she graduated high school, she posts good links if you want to see who these pastors are. 1070 that got invited to Israel, and when you hear them speak, it's horrible. They behave like, imagine that you're a fanatic football fans and you explain how great your football team is. They sound like that for Israel. And there are also a lot of ads. So if you are close to a church in USA, or 523 churches, if you are close to them, you get ad target at you, and they will preach false Christianity to you. So that's how they do, from Korea to USA and to Israel, of course. Dropsite News is very credible, and they have gotten hold of a lot of Epstein emails. So they will release a lot more, and maybe someone actually will get arrested, or at least investigated, after appearing here. So first of all, Les Wexner and the Wexner Foundation. That was run by Jeffrey Epstein. So this entire Les Wexner group should be arrested and investigated, of course. Bari Weiss, you might know her as the new editor-in-chief of CBS News. And she's her father, Louis Weiss. He's an alumni from Wexner Heritage program. So Bari Weiss comes from Epstein, basically. So that when she is spreading Zionist propaganda on CBS, you know where that is coming from, straight from the child traffickers. Tim Pool is said to have very low ratings. I did not see that. I think that Adam Media is exaggerating a little bit, but Tim Pool seems to have some economical problems, and of course security problems, he says. But he sounds angry and sounds Zionist, and that is not really popular. He used to get a little bit more views, but he's still getting like 100,000 to 200,000 views on his live broadcasts on YouTube. So I assume it's not like he is falling off a cliff or getting irrelevant. He's just very annoying at the moment. Kenneth Owens got a lot of tips about some Arkady Gaidamak, and he's a Russian-born Jew, Israeli, and connected to the French intelligence. So he is a convicted arms trafficker, and he's said to have changed name to Jonathan Schmidt, and he's a billionaire, and he works as a tech officer at Rote brands in Nashville, close to Candace Owens. And if that really is him and not someone else, it's very suspicious, to say the least. So we'll see if something happens there. I haven't followed Candace Owens closely the last days. Some interesting facts that you probably know a little bit already about the culture changing in USA. So from 1960 to 2025. In 1960 there were 40% of the women had been working full-time any time in their lives. So 60% of the women had never had a full-time job, and 95% now has had a full-time job. In 1960, 82% of the women got married once and had kids. Today that number is 18. 18% of the ladies in the 60s were alcoholics, or became, and 26% today. Less than 1% were interested in doing anything like prostitution of the ladies in the 60s. Now it's 12% that are selling sex on OnlyFans or strip dancing, whatever, selling sex. So that's a cultural change. And 95% were religious, and now it's 55%, and only 30% were or would become obese in the 60s, and now it's 70% that eventually will become fat. So something is going in the wrong direction. Then you can argue about if it's good to have full-time work sometimes, and if it's good to have a religion, and what kind exactly the religion should be of. Ihlan Omar, I haven't commented on her because she's well, useless, but maybe you can learn something from her. She is doing a masterclass in how to not do it when you are fighting Jewish supremacy. So if you really doubt that she is a useful Somali for Jewish supremacy, you should read that article. I've linked to it from my Substack. And she goes onto a show like Face the Nation, where you have Bari Weiss, that cunningly, not wisely, but cunningly, she got invited there because CBS wants to destroy this Ihlan Omar. Not because she is against the Jews, she's very useful in that, but they don't like those progressive Jews, even though they work together with them. Of course, she is afraid of getting her donors disappearing, so she is not criticizing the Jews that are supporting her. But the Zionists want all resistance, so she could have said something, yeah, you Jewish supremacists, you are fighting very hard against this anyone who criticizes Israel, like Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. But she didn't. Instead, she did the most stupid thing, and that is yelling racist against everyone. And she's calling them Nazis. Never do that. That's really stupid. Especially as she's calling Stephen Miller and other Jews Nazis. Never call a Jew Nazi. That's dumb. Instead, call them out for Jewish supremacy and all their conspiring and their control of Congress. So you can watch, for example, the contrast with David Duke when he was really trashing people on TV. Of course, he's not invited there anymore. Mel is Reporting about when USSR disappeared, when the Soviet Union shut down. You had a problem for Israel. Why should USA fund Israel if there is no Soviet to fight? Well, they invented Islamist terrorism. So if you don't have a threat, well, you create a threat so that they can steal your money and lives, actually. And there is now a big warning sign from Mossad that says that Hamas will attack Europe. All the resources that Hamas has, yeah, it's false flag is incoming, and no one should believe them. And if Europe is attacked, we should bomb Israel, or at least, well, destroy them in maybe some other way. Whites are like elves in the Lord of the Rings. The white races that were building all this amazing stuff, and now we are disappearing in our own cities that are overfilled with foreigners. Some people feel like that, and you can see London, for example. It was 93% British in 1971, and in 1971 it was 37% British and 17% whites from the rest of the world. MTG and Thomas Massie are heavily attacked, often quite rude by Trump, but he does make them really powerful. At least Thomas Massie. MTG had to quit, but he's wasting a lot of Zionist money. For example, Miriam Adelson, she's paying a lot of money to dethrone Thomas Massie, which seems to be hard. And he has gotten way more money thanks to her, or because people don't want her influence, I guess. So I will not thank her for that, but that's the effect that it's having. Lebanon was bombed by Israel, so they are raving mad and needs to be destroyed. And if Lebanon thinks that Israel will stop bombing them just because they get rid of Hezbollah, that's not going to happen, because they are suicidal gangsters. But look at the technology that you see in the Ukrainian war, with all the drones and robot tanks and electronic warfare. That is coming, and then you have the company Palantir. So that's some nightmares that you can have about that. But we'll talk about something nicer tomorrow, I hope. Have a nice Wednesday anyway.